जय जय गणपति जय गणपति जय गणेश जय गणपति जय मोदाकरात मोदकं सदा विमुक्त साधकं कलाधरात वन्दकं विलासि लोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते भदैत्यकं नताशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकं नमामि तं विनायकं न तेतरातिभीकरं न वोदितार्कपास्वरम् नमस्सुरासिर्निर्जरं नतादिकावदुद्धरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गणेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरं परात्परं निरन्तरं समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरं दरेदरोदरं वरं वरे भवक्त्रमक्षरं कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम् अकिञ्चनातिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोक्तिभावजं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्ववर्जनं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणम् नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय कृन्तनम् हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्त्य नामि सन्ततम् महागणेश पञ्चरत्नमादरेण योऽन्वहं प्रचलति प्रभातके हृदि स्मरन् गणेश्वरम् अरोगतापमोक्षतां सुसाहिनीं सुपुत्रिणीं समाहितायुरष्टभूतिमन्यपैति सुचिराम् ॐ श्री गणपतये नमः ॐ श्री गणपतये नमः ॐ श्री गणपतये नमः. Let me ask a question. What is the downfall of man in life? What is the downfall of man in life? Any particular reason apart from the many reasons? Can you point your finger at one? One of the main cause of people to fall in life is what we hear all the time. It is called as ahankar, ego. And ahankar or ego is that which blinds not only the eyes but blinds the ears and blinds the mind and blinds our decisions. Ahankar, ego. Many things would cause that. Many things can cause arrogance, so many things can cause the ego to happen. You have plenty of money, a person can become arrogant or egoistic because of their wealth. A person has a high level of education, that person can become arrogant and even egoistic because they are uniquely blessed with a high level of education, but unfortunately, they feel as though that they are much better than others, and therefore arrogance is developed. One of the third reasons that a person might become very arrogant or very egoistic is because of their generation. The generation, it is called Kula Mother, the generation from which they are born, that also causes arrogance. And my friends, or ego. And when arrogance is born out of ego, we become blind. Keep that in mind. When arrogance is born out of ego, we become blind. And blindness does not mean physically blind. There are many people who are blind, but yet they see. Their eyes are working, but they are blind to love. They are blind to compassion. They are blind to honesty. They are blind to dignity. They are blind to pride. They are blind to good character. Have you heard before? Once blind, but now I see. Once I was blind. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. How sweet the sound. Why is it so sweet, but yet we are blind? Why is it so sweet, and yet we are lost? Once lost, but not found. Once I was lost. I was lost in arrogance. I was lost in ego. I was lost in character. I was lost in dignity. I was lost in pride. But now I'm found. Friends, since many reasons are there because we fall in life, since many reasons cause our fall in life, tonight let us see what Bhagwan tells. On the night of Ganesh Chaturthi, for those who look at the moon, that person is said to become the victim of a blame of something that they did not commit. And why Bhagwan Ganesh put that shrap on the moon is because one day the moon laughed at Bhagwan Ganesh. Chandrama Devta, he laughed at Bhagwan Ganesh and he thought that Lord Ganesh was, different. And because he thought that Lord Ganesh was different, he laughed at him. And you know what, my dear brothers and sisters? Every one of us in this world, we are unique. Everyone in this world are special. Everybody will not speak the same way. Everybody will not dress the same way. Everybody will not be educated the same way. Everybody will not be the same in terms of their status. Everybody will not be the same in terms of their looks. People will dress differently. People will talk differently. People will act differently. But it does not mean to say that they are what you call lesser than you are. In terms of the physical appearance, in terms of the physical body, we may be different. But in terms of the soul, the Atma, we are one. We are no different. The waves may be different. The sizes of the waves may be different. The colors of the wave might be different. Yet they all exist in the same ocean. And so, my friends, we all are very unique. And therefore, if someone is different to you, you don't laugh at them. If someone is different to you, you don't condemn that individual. And so Bhagwan Ganesh felt very hurt and very upset. Well, not really upset, but hurt. And he became a little bit, annoyed with Chandrama Devta. And he said, from today, anyone who looks at you, Chandrama Devta, on this Chaturthi, that person will receive a shrap and that person will be blamed because of you, Chandrama. And friends, Chandrama Devta became a little bit, uneasy, and he asked Bhagwan Ganesh, he says, please tell me what I should do to nullify the negative effects of this. And he says, the only person who can nullify the negative effect of this shrap is Bhagwan Krishna. And therefore you must listen to the Shamanta Katha of the Bhagavad Mahapuran, and the negative effect of this shall be eradicated. But we not only pray tonight for the negative effect of the what you call this darshan, or looking at the moon and the Chaturthi, but we pray, my friends, that all negativities will be worn away from our lives as we listen to this katha tonight. And if there is anything that is affecting you in your life, we pray Bhagwan Krishna and Bhagwan Ganesh bless us all. We pray that may we all be protected in all aspects of our lives and not become the victim of any blame or anything of the sort. And so, one of the attendants, one of the servants, one of the soldiers of Bhagwan Krishna, he was called as Satrajit. Satrajit, my friends, he was a very pious and devoted bhakta of Suryanarayan Swami, and he was very dedicated in the worship of the sun. And it is said, friends, that when the sun is worshipped by a devotee constantly, every day, by chanting the mantras that glorifies the sun, for example, Om Priyadityaya Namaha, Om Suryaya Namaha, Om Japa Jashoma Shanka Shama Shama Kashameyam Mahadyutam Tamorim Sarva Papagam Pranatosmi Suryanarayan Swami. By worship of the sun, that individual becomes blessed by the sun, and that individual who worships the sun shines like the sun. That is why, my friends, the culture of Sanatana Dharma, or the culture of Hinduism, is that you get up early in the morning, before sunrise, or maybe during sunrise, and you worship Suryanarayan Swami by offering a lota of jal. Especially for the students, and especially for the youngsters and the youths, and especially for every one of us. Worship of the sun. Friends, don't think that when our elders and our forefathers and older ones, when they recommended worship the sun, that they were talking by guess. They had a reason. Maybe they couldn't explain the reason, but they knew it came from what you call a tradition that was very valuable and very precious in its culture and its nature. And that is why they will say worship the sun. And so Satrajit would worship the sun. And he will not only treat Suryanarayan Swami as a god, but he treated Suryanarayan Swami as a friend. And he would talk to Suryanarayan Swami, and the sun is traversing the universe, and Satrajit will communicate with Suryanarayan Swami. Hey Bhagwan, did you see that what happened? You know, this is happening in my life, and he will talk as he's talking to a friend. And one day Suryanarayan Swami thought that this devotee of mine, Satrajit, is so very devoted and dedicated. I must bless him. And Suryanarayan Swami came and he blessed Satrajit with something that is very, very precious, and that would be very precious, and that will constantly be very precious. He gave him the Shamantaka gem. It was a jewel that he gave to him, and that jewel was shining like the sun itself. He told Satrajit, he says, I want you to wear this gem on your neck, and you, every day, you will be blessed with gold. Gold will manifest in your kingdom. Gold will manifest in your home. And you will be blessed with lots of wealth and prosperity, happiness and peace. And wherever this gem is, be very attentive. Wherever this gem is, there will be no disease. Wherever this gem is, there will be no what you call poverty. Wherever this gem, Shamantak, is, there will be no hunger, no thirst, and no one will feel the pain of anything of this world. Therefore, Satrajit, keep this gem with you, and you will shine just like I am shining. And so, friends, it is said in the Bhagavad Mahapuran written by Bhagwan Ved Vyasji that Satrajit now, he became very happy. He took the gem and he placed it around his neck, and wherever he would go now, he goes to show people the gem that it is so beautiful. He wanted everyone to get darshan of this beautiful gem. And so, friends, it so happened that while Satrajit was going through his community, the gem was shining so much that people could not look at him, but he didn't realize it. The gem was shining like the sun itself. It was shining just like Suryanarayan Swami. You know, it is difficult to look at the sun with the bare eyes. It is difficult to look at the sun with bare eyes, and that was happening to Satrajit. And so, my friends, while he would be walking, the rays of the sun shone through him, and through that gem, and everyone thought that Suryanarayan Swami had come down on the earth and is walking. Brothers and sisters, as Satrajit would walk through the streets, everyone will be so happy and they would praise him. And so, my friends, the devotees of Dwarka, they rushed to Bhagavan Krishna and they told Krishna, Hare Kanha, Krishna, something has happened. Suryanarayan Swami came down and he's walking in the streets. We want you to meet him, O Krishna. Please come, O Krishna. And the Lord smiled because he was amused by what the people were saying and how, maybe inverted commas, how naive they were. Suryanarayan Swami came down on the earth and he's walking on the street. Please come, O Krishna. And the Lord smiled and he said, my beloved friends, it's not really Suryanarayan Swami. It is Satrajit that is shining like the sun, because he is wearing a jewel called the Shamantak jewel. And because he is wearing this, Suryadev is shining through him, and therefore it appears to be Suryanarayan Swami. Therefore, I want you all to be happy for Satrajit. Satrajit will be blessed with lots of wealth, and he will be blessed with lots of happiness. There will be no accidental death wherever this Shamantak is, and there will be no bodily pain, there will be no hunger and greed, there will be no negativity where this gem is, and therefore you all be happy for him. Be happy for him. And Krishna Bhagavan, he went and he eventually met with Satrajit. And Satrajit, he was the servant of Krishna, and now the Lord Bhagavan Krishna is talking to him. But he's thinking now that he is Bhagavan. See how the change is taking place. He is thinking that, hey, Krishna all the time was the boss. He was the master. He was the blue boy of Vrindavan. He was the one that performed the miracles. He was the one that taught the Gita to Arjuna. He was the one that fought the war. But look at me. I am the one shining now. Everybody is attracted to me. I am Satrajit because of this gem. I am shining like the sun. And Satrajit, my dear friends, now the power of the gem started entering into the mind of Satrajit. And instead of brightening the mind of Satrajit, he started becoming rather arrogant. My dear brothers and sisters, when Satrajit saw Krishna, he started talking to him as if Krishna was now no one to him. And he said, Krishna, what brought you here today? Krishna said, Satrajit, I came for darshan. Very jokingly, he said, I came for darshan because the Lord already realized what was happening in the mind of Satrajit. He is thinking that he is up there and Krishna is down there. Remember in the case of the Bhagavad Mahapuran, when Krishna was a boy and he told his father, Nanda Baba and the others of Nandagaon, he said, why are you preparing for worship? They said, we are going to worship God Indra. He said, why? He says, because Indra is the god of the clouds. And God Indra will send rain through the clouds. And when we get the rain, we are going to get grass. And the cows will have food. And when the cows have food, we will get milk. And you will get makhan. And all these things will happen. And therefore we must worship God Indra. Krishna, as a boy, he said, don't worship Indra. The father was stunned and he said, why? He said, it is your karma to get rain. It is your karma to get grass. It is your karma to get milk. It is your karma to get all these and achieve all this. And therefore, do not worship Indra. Worship Govardhan, because the grass comes from Govardhan mountain. And from there, we have all that we have. And therefore, worship Govardhan. Indra got angry, and because again of the arrogance, I am the king of the heavens, I am the king of the clouds, and here is this little boy who is telling, don't worship me, I will teach him a lesson. And Indra sent rain for 7 days and 7 nights. The entire Gokul had been flooded, and my friends, the Lord lifted Giriraj Govardhan in the mountain and sheltered everyone. In other words, arrogance and ego blinds the right thinking individual, and such a person who is blinded by arrogance cannot see God and will even forget the divinity of God. Arrogance, my dear friends, destroys the discriminative faculty in us. Arrogance destroys the intellectual capacity in us to discriminate between that which is nitya and anitya in particular, because that which is nitya is real and that which is anitya is unreal. Arrogance is unreal. Bhagwan is real. And therefore what Bhagwan did was, what Satrajit did was, he became very arrogant. He's talking to Krishna as if Bhagwan Krishna is nothing. Krishna said, I came for darshan. He said, well, you have the darshan of the Shamanta Krishna. What do you want? Krishna said, I would like to recommend something to you and suggest something that is very important. Friends, be very attentive. Bhagwan Krishna spoke and said, Satrajit, with that gem on your body, you are shining like the sun. You are indeed very blessed. Do you know that you and your family will benefit tremendously? Satrajit smiled and he said, yes. Krishna said, in your home, there will be no disease. In your home, there will be no hunger. In your home, there will be no conflict. In your home, there will be peace and happiness and prosperity. Every day, you'll find 12 kgs of gold in your home every day, Satrajit, along with other wealth. Satrajit smiled and he said, yes. Krishna said, my suggestion is, why don't you take the Shamantak gem and give it to the king, Ugrasen, so that everyone in the kingdom will benefit? Why don't you take this gem and give it to the king Ugrasen, that everyone in the kingdom will benefit, and everybody will be disease-free, and everybody will be wealthy and prosperous, and everybody will be happy, and everybody will be out of conflict and chaos. Give it to the king, so that everyone will benefit. Friends, this Satrajit held on to the gem and he said, but this is mine. Suryadev gave it to me. And since Suryanarayan Swami gave it to me, I am not going to give it to the king. Who cares whether anybody will benefit or not? I am benefiting. Another symbol, another sign of arrogance. Another sign, my friends, where it gives birth to selfishness. It's all about me, myself, and I. This will benefit me. If it can benefit everybody, I don't care about you. I care about me. And so, friends, the suggestion of Bhagwan Krishna was shut down by Satrajit. He said, I will not give anyone. Even though he was told that the entire nation will benefit. Friends, how come? Why is the world the way it is? As a matter of fact, let me change that. Let me rephrase that. Why do we become like this? Why do we lose focus? When, my friends, we know that others can benefit from what we do, why do we lose focus and be selfish? This is a question we ought to ask ourselves. You will know that when you go to the workplaces, you will see selfishness to the max. One person getting a promotion, their colleagues will do everything to pull them down. One person has a good relationship with the boss, other person will put a spoke in the wheel. In the workplace you find, when you see others prospering, achieving, somehow in the heart, some people, or maybe even us, we tend to become, the victim of our arrogance, and we become blinded. But hey, that person is working hard, and that person is achieving. Why am I to become jealous? My friends, it is a rat race outside there, where everyone is biting at others. That's why Lord Ganesh is riding the mouse. He's riding the mouse, You know why? When last you see a mouse? Anybody would like to have a mouse in your house? Would you like to have a mouse in your house? As you see a mouse or a rat, first thing you think about is a trap. Isn't it? You call up the hardware. Hey, you have any rat trap? Or you have any rat poison? How many people try to get rat poison? They put the rat poison, the rat come and smell it and gone. So they can't catch the rat. The rat is smart. He knows, if I eat that one, if I eat this one, local language, I'm dead. Isn't it? So there are some things I can eat and there are some things I have to leave. But Bhagwan Ganesh, he knows the rat is a destructive creature. So you know what? When the mind becomes like a rat, when the mind becomes destructive, when the mind becomes arrogant and the mind becomes negative, let me, the controller of the mind, ride upon it. Friends, the rat is a vehicle. Don't take it as a, what you call a literal mouse. Don't take it as a literal rat that Ganesh is so absurd and he's so, what you call, you need to say, he couldn't buy a Benz. Bhagwan Ganesh is the God of wisdom, and Bhagwan Ganesh removes obstacles and he gets wealth. Why couldn't he buy, what? Man, Ganesh Baba could buy his own plane. He chose to ride a mouse. My friends, the soul is riding the mind. The mind is like a mouse. And if the mind becomes negative, it destroys everything. The same mind can achieve anything in life, and the same mind can be the cause of destruction of everything in life. Same mind. Anyway, that's a different kind of katha. I don't want to drift away from this because the philosophy can be lost. And when you go into the philosophy, we can get lost and carried away. But this is what happened to Satrajit. And he became so selfish, and Bhagwan Krishna told him, give it to the king of Prasena, and he will be blessed, and the whole kingdom will be happy and prosperous and disease free. Satrajit said, no, I am giving it to none. Bhagwan Krishna said, okay. When you ask somebody for something that can benefit others and they don't give it, all you can say is okay, no problem. That's what Bhagwan Krishna did. Tonight, this mandir is going to ask you all for something. But we want you to give it tomorrow night. So that's why we're asking you tonight. So tomorrow night when you come, you will bring it. And they will not say or forget. And what we're going to ask you for tonight is money. And why are we going to ask you for money? To give in the arti. And why are we going to ask you for money to give in the arti? Because the members of the mandir have decided that they want to use the arti to give it to the young boy who a piece of metal went in his eye, and he is about to do surgery tomorrow night, and a piece of the metal stuck in his eye, Mahindra Ramlogan, and his parents cannot afford it. And he's a very wonderful person, I was told, in this community. So the mandir and the members of the mandir, Shri Sharmaji and all the team of members of this mandir decided that they were going to give whatever you give tomorrow night. If you want to give tonight, no problem. Meet some of the members in the mandir, give them and tell them that's tomorrow night for the arati. So that will be used for the surgery of Mahindra. You know, a piece of metal stuck in his eye. The doctors tried to take it out and it could not come out. Peace remain. So they got another specialist to do an extra surgery to do that tomorrow night. Pray for him. Imagine a little piece of dust goes in there. How it feels. Imagine something just touched your eye, how it feels. And what he is going through tonight, we don't know. But we ask Lord Krishna to bless him and Bhagwan Ganapati Baba. So friends, when you give something that others will benefit, what you give becomes even more powerful in your life. When you give something, it doesn't have to be much, you know. But whatever you give with faith and with love to help others, it becomes glorious in your life. I promise you tonight. That's why it is said, to purify food, you give food. To purify your wealth, you give charity. To purify your education, you give knowledge. Don't be selfish with what you have. Don't be selfish with what God bless you with. My dear brothers and sisters, Satrajit became very much selfish and he said, it's mine. I am not going to give it. No, let us pause there for a moment. Another person is going to ask Satrajit for the same jewel. In this case, Lord Krishna is asking. In the second case, who is going to ask? Prasenajit. Prasenajit was the brother of Satyajit, and he goes to him and he said, Bhaiya, things cannot bad with me. I heard you have a gem, and that gem gives you so much wealth and prosperity. Can I have it for one day? What do you think he did? Give it to him? Yes or no? What do you all say? Give it to him? But I see brother boy. That's his brother, so he said, you know what? I'm going to give you, but for one day. Make sure, Prasena, after 124 hours pass, bring it back for me. Prasenajit became happy. He took the gem and he wore it. He also started shining like the sun. He decided that he is going to get all this wealth and he is going to enjoy it. But he is also going to hunt that night. And Prasenajit went to the forest with the gem. He didn't even have to walk with a headlight or a flashlight because the gem was shining like the sun. And it so happened, my friends, 8 hours passed, 15 hours passed, 20 hours passed, 24 hours passed. Satrajit did not close his eye for a moment. He sat down and he watched the road. Prasenajit must be coming now. Prasenajit must be coming now. Prasenajit must be coming now. And when 25 hours passed and Prasenajit did not come, Satrajit decided, I'm going to look for him. I want my gem back. And he decided to go in search of his brother with a search team. And my friends, lo and behold, while they were searching for his brother, they found only a body of the brother and not the gem. Someone killed Prasenajit and they took the gem and they went away. Now tell me something. If you heard this and you are in that situation, who is the first person you're going to blame? Think back from the past. Who is the first person you're going to blame? Yourself? Who was the person who was asking for it just a few minutes ago, a few hours ago? If I come and I ask you for this phone, and you say no, I'm not going to give it to you, and then you lend the phone to Panadev, and Panadev get the phone, and then Panadev, somebody stole the phone from Panadev. Who you think steal it? Me, eh? You think I went and beat Panadev and stole the phone? So Krishna was asking for it. He did not get it. A few hours later, Prasenajit was killed. The gem is gone. And Satrajit, he said, I knew it. I knew it. I know the person who did this. That Krishna. That Krishna came to me and he asked for his gem. I did not give it to him. Look what he did. He killed my brother. He took the gem and he is gone. That is what Krishna did. And Satrajit started spreading that rumor about Bhagavan Krishna. And my dear friends, it so happened, Bhagavan Krishna sitting in Dwarika, he home relaxing. He heard the people came running to him, Krishna, you killed Prasenajit and you stole the gem. How could you do this? Krishna said, what are you talking about? And this is where we have a problem in life. Satrajit didn't know the truth. He accused Bhagavan Krishna. He made an accusation. And Krishna was accused. The people heard the accusation. They believed the accusation. And now they go to Krishna and said, you did it. I tell you friends, in this world, this is how unfair it can be at times. They did not even know the truth. They only heard what Satrajit said and they pointed their fingers at Krishna and they also condemned him. They stereotyped him as a thief, as a murderer. In this case, it was not just Makhan. We know he is Markanjur. But this was not Markan. This was a gem that was very precious. It meant something. And when my friend they blamed Krishna, he smiled and he said, but I was home all night. I didn't leave home. But if you all are telling that I killed Prasena and I stole the gem, then I must find the truth. Krishna, he turned his thoughts. He turned his thoughts to Bhagwan Ganapati. Lord Krishna turned to Ganapati Baba and he said, Prabhu, what is happening? And Bhagwan Krishna glorified Lord Ganesh and he said, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganapati, Jai Ganesh, Jai Ganapati, Jai Jai. Lord Krishna is once again glorifying Lord Ganesh. For what purpose? Because he knew that it was Lord Ganesh that said that whosoever would listen to this katha, the effects of looking at the moon on that night will be eradicated. Krishna is simply saying thanks to Bhagwan Ganesh because he knew now that he is being blamed, and therefore he goes to Ganesh Baba and he says, Ganapati Vena Vinashanahari, Ganapati Vena Vinashanahari, Ganapati Vena Vinashanahari, Ganapati Vena Vinashanahari, Jai Jai Ganapati, Jai Krishna is now not accusing anyone, but he is looking for evidence. having searched the spot where Prasena was sitting, he found something. What did Bhagavan Krishna find? What did he found? He found what you call evidence of what happened to Prasennaji. And what it was, he saw the footprints of a lion that killed Prasennaji, and the blood dripped to some distance away, and he saw the footprint of the lion went, and Bhagavan Krishna concluded that the lion killed Prasennaji, but then where is the gem? So he continued following the footprints, and lo and behold, what he found was, he found the dead body of a lion. So something killed the lion. So someone killed Prasennaji with a lion. Now the lion went away, and something killed the lion. But the gem is still not found. So what they did was, they thought maybe the lion ate the gem, and it stifled and died. So they cut open the lion, searched inside, no gem. And they realized also that there were what you call marks of a fight between a lion and someone. So they started searching again, and saw that there was blood going away, a distance away, and they found the footprints of a bear. So a bear fought the lion, killed the lion. Remember one person said once, he said, if I had a lion fighting, it's a real lion. My friends, so the bear killed the lion, and the bear took the gem and probably gone. So let us look for the bear now. So Bhagavan Krishna and his search team went on looking and searching, and they reached to a cave. And in the cave, Bhagavan Krishna thought that the bear might be living in this cave. You all remain here, and let me go in and see who is in there. As Bhagavan Krishna was about to enter the cave, he saw a baby bear creeping on the ground, coming towards the entrance of the cave with the Shamantak gem in its hand, in its possession. And when Bhagavan Krishna saw the baby bear, he thought, hey, what are you doing with that? Come here. The little bear turned around, was about to run away. And Bhagavan Krishna goes now to hold the baby and to take the gem, when he heard a roar of the mother responding. And the mother roared, and she responded to her baby, saying, she announced, be scared, there is a man there, come back to me. And Bhagavan Krishna, my dear brothers and sisters, was unable to get the gem. But lo and behold, if somebody tried to take something from a child, and the mother responds in what you call in opposition, and the mother didn't get through, who comes in? Father bear. So the father bear, when he heard his hymn, screamed in fright. The father responded. My friends, the father did not ask any question. That is the father bear. He didn't ask any question. He came. The safety of my child was threatened. My wife announced fear, and therefore I am here to ask no question to you, O human. And the bear responded, my friends, with rage. The bear responded with a fight in battle. The bear responded in war. Friends, a battle went on between this bear and Bhagavan Krishna. It went on for 28 days, 28 long days. The bear was so powerful that it killed. And Bhagavan Krishna was so powerful, he could not be killed. Lo and behold, the bear on the 28th day looked at Bhagavan Krishna and he said, you are fighting well. You are fighting very good. There is only one person I know that could have fought like you. Krishna, he paused and said, who? Who is that person that could have fight like me? He says, my Lord, Maryada Purushottam Bhagavan Sri Ram. He was my Bhagavan who could have fight like you. Tell me, who are you that is fighting like him? Tell me, who are Bhagwan Krishna paused. He stopped. He looked at the bear. Rama, who is he? Is that the Ram whose wife was taken by Ravan? And he cried for 9 months, crossing the ocean, crying without his wife. I think I am very disappointed in him. The bear, his eyes grew red. How dare you speak about my Lord Ram in this manner? And friends, again, the bear started to fight. No, not for the baby and not for the wife. He is fighting for his Lord Sri Ram. The bear fought with Bhagwan Krishna. How dare you speak these arrogant and negative words about my Lord? And while fighting Bhagwan Krishna, he pushed him, that is, the bear pushed Bhagwan Krishna away. The Lord rolled away, and when he got up with the Dhanush Ban. The bear saw Bhagwan Sri Ram standing in front of him. He wiped his eyes, and then he looked again, and he saw Krishna. He wiped his eyes, and again he looked, and he saw Sri Ram. He became very much confused. He became weak with that confusion. He looked at him and he asked, who are you? Why are you playing this trick with me, O Ram? Tell me, O Maryada Purushottam, why are you doing this to me? And my friends, at that point in time, Bhagwan Krishna says to the bear, he says, Jambavan, don't you recognize me? Do you remember, Jambavan, the promise I gave to you when I was in Treta Yuga at Sri Ram? Didn't you remember I told you, remain and I will come and give you darshan when I come back again? Jambavan, it is me, Ram. Now I am Krishna. I have given the opportunity to Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya to be my parents. Therefore, I know that you are here and I allowed all this to happen. I came to give you darshan, Jambavan. My friends, the tears flowed from the eyes of Jambavan. He said, I have been waiting every second since you left for you to come. And today you have reached. I do apologize that I did not recognize you, Prabhu. I did not recognize you. But I know that you have come. And you have come for this gem. I wondered who it was. In fact, who it was belonging to. And therefore I was waiting for someone to come and claim it. Krishna, the gem is yours. And Bhagwan Krishna, my friends, who was Maryada Purushottam Ram, fulfilled the promise that he gave to Jambavan the bear. Because Jambavan was Chiranjeev. Chiranjeev means he could have never died. He would have had everlasting life in body. That's the meaning of Chiranjeev. That's a nice name for a boy child. Shekhar. Shekhar had his boy child. We'll name him Chiranjeev. That's it. Father gave blessing already. Chiranjeev fix. But Chiranjeevi, one who has long, everlasting life. You see, look at what blessing is coming. That child is not even born yet. This boy is not even married yet. We're not thinking outside the box. We don't know when the child will come. But that child, when he has to come, he's already blessed with a name. Maybe he's already looking down, waiting. Daddy, get married now. So, Chiranjeev, he had long life in body. And you know, my friends, it is said, Jambavan was so happy to get the darshan now of Bhagwan Krishna. Bhagwan Krishna took the gem. He took the gem and he went now to the Shamata jewel. He went to Satrajit and he said that I have found the gem. Satrajit, you have accused me of not only stealing the gem but murdering your brother. But I have to prove my innocence. And now I give you back this gem. Please take it. And now Satrajit, my dear friends, did not want the gem. He wanted to give it to the king. What the Lord was suggesting in the first instance. And all the devotees who were with Bhagwan Krishna, overwhelmed also. Bhagavan Krishna, who had entered the cave to find this gem, was trying to prove his innocence. And it is said that while in the cave, the battle went on for 28 days and Krishna was nowhere to be seen. All the search team, they thought that, we think that is it, Krishna has gone. He is killed. And in order to sustain the life of Krishna, or to allow him to win, you know what the devotees did? They turned to Ma Durga. In times of battle, in times of challenges, in times of situations where you have to fight, Durga Devi protects. They went to Ma Durga and they said, Ma, Krishna is fighting. Can you please bless him to win? Darshan ho maa tere, sabki abhilasha hai, man mein raho tum sabke, tumse yahi aasha hai. Are you fighting any battles tonight? Are you fighting, my friends? Are there a battle that you are fighting? We know that the young man, Mahindra, is fighting a battle to save his life tonight. Are there anyone tonight who is fighting to save their health? Kya mera, kya sata, ye apna paraya kya, sad jyoti jala karke, roshan karo jag sara, roshan karo jag sara. Are there anyone fighting to save your marriage? Are there anyone tonight fighting to save their job? Are there anyone fighting to save someone's happiness? Are you in the cave fighting to fulfill your dreams and to achieve your goals? तुम विनती सुनो सबकी, कल्याण करो जग का, सतराह देवा करके, उद्धार करो दुर्गा, उद्धार करो. Are you fighting because there are people who are taking advantage of you? Are you fighting to stay above the situations of life? Or to make ends meet when the month comes? Sansar tumhara hai. There is someone who is hearing you tonight, friends. There is someone who is looking at you. There is someone who is fighting with you. There is someone who is not only beside you and I. There is someone who is with us all the time. Kya rang hai jeevan ka, kya roop hai manav ka, tum ज्ञान भरा करके, उद्धार करो दुर्गा, उद्धार with us. The devotees pray that Lord Krishna win whatever he has engaged in. But he did not only win, he came out the cave with victory, and he came out the cave with the jewel. My friends, Lord Krishna takes this jewel now and he gives it to Satrajit. Now, the same people who was cursing Krishna, you took the gem and you stole it and you this and you that, those are the same people now turn on Satrajit. Ever heard the saying, what goes around comes around? And people, I tell you something, the old people have a saying, you hear an inch, finish it out? Huh? I don't know how they say that, I just know that part. You give an inch, or you hear an inch, which one? They give an inch and they take a yard. So some people, they hear a little thing, and girl, if I tell you what here, sit down. Sit down and let me talk. And these people are the same ones who now went and they started passing Satrajit. They said, you pointed your finger and you accused our Lord Bhagavan Krishna, and now you're acting like this. And therefore, we would now like to tell you, Satrajit, Bhagavan Krishna had nothing to do with this. He had nothing to do with this. And it's only because of you and your ignorance and your arrogance and your false pride and your abhiman, all this thing came about. Brothers and sisters, Satrajit was so embarrassed and he was so unhappy because of what he did. Out of everybody in the world, Krishna, this is what I would do to Bhagavan Krishna. Out of everyone, he felt as if he could not live anymore. So he had to pacify Bhagavan Krishna. And in order to pacify Bhagavan Krishna, Satrajit told Krishna, he says, I want you to please forgive me, and I will give my beautiful daughter to you in marriage. Please accept her. And that is how Krishna got married to Satyabhama. And having gotten married to Satyabhama, my dear friends, the shrap of looking at the moon on the night of Ganesh Chaturthi, that came to an end. And it is said, and it was declared by Bhagavan Ganesh himself, that anyone who would listen to this katha rather, of the Shamanta gem, such a person will be freed from all accusations, and such a person will be freed from all blames, and such a person will be freed from all negativities of that nature. Now, let us keep one thing in mind, my friends. Have you ever been blamed for something that you did not do? No answer. I know the answer. And the answer is, as you might say, yes, Baba, we get that all the time. Now, after this katha tonight, do you think it will stop? Yes or no? Why? Because the cycle. What do you all say? Will it stop? Asking the papa and them on this side. And these are the old boys. And they have real experience in life. And they would have gone through their whole lives, in fact their whole life, with many accusations in their life. And Papa is saying no. He said it will not stop. But I want to tell you tonight, friends, you are wrong. I want to tell you tonight you are wrong. It will stop. It has to stop. Providing that you and I stop being arrogant in life. The moment we stop being arrogant, you see, we just can't listen to the katha. We have been doing that all our lives, friends. We just can't listen to it and let it go in one ear and go to the next side. We have to listen to it. And now from tonight, let us not be the one to point a finger at anyone when we do not know something. If you know something is not true, or if you do not have the evidence of something, do not point a finger and blame anybody for something that you do not know, and it will stop. We have to be the change. We have to make that change. And you see, we can't just listen to the katha and all this drama about Bhagavan Krishna coming down in the earth, and he goes and he is blamed for this Shamanta gem, and he went and fought this bear, Jambavan inside the cave, etc. Yes, all that is good, all that is wonderful. It's nice to make a connection, to see how the Lord fulfills His promise to His devotees. All those things are wonderful. But the more important, friends, this katha is suggesting tonight that this type of blaming must stop. Right now, in many homes, the husband blaming the wife for things that she did not say or even do. That would lead to divorce. Today I went down by the creek for cremation. A young guy passed away. We pray for his soul tonight. And there was also another funeral where a young girl who was supposed to get married today was murdered. She was selling her doubles, and some relative, they say, who came and killed her. And she was supposed to get married today, she got cremated today. Friends, maybe accusation, maybe blaming, who knows? Many things happen for that. But there are people tonight, wives who are suffering abuse. Who are you talking to on the phone? Who is that you're talking to on the phone? I'm talking to my mother. Give me the phone and listen. Jump to conclusions, talking to somebody. You know how many husbands suffering the same thing? You know how many children, youths, suffering because of the same thing? Parents accusing them of being on the phone for reasons that they are not on the phone for? Maybe they might be on the phone for a reason too. I'm not saying, but I'm saying what we are saying tonight, friends. We are saying don't blame someone wrongfully. Not because the wife is on the phone, she is talking to somebody, or she is cheating. Don't jump to conclusion here. Your home will be in chaos. Your home will be a place that have no peace when there is wrongful blaming, false accusation. We're not here in this world to live like that. One wife called me and she said, Baba, I wish I'd die. I said, you are wishing to die? There are people wishing to live right now. Why you wish to die? She said, Baba, for the past 20 years, I have not had peace in my life. I said, what did you do? She said, I got married. That's not a joke, that's a true thing. I said, no, my children are going through the same thing. If they see their father coming, they run to the other side of the house, or they're running from this man. Is it a husband I have, or is it a beast I have, Baba? Tell me what to do. Is there any puja to do? Can I tell her to do any puja for that? Yeah. What would you recommend, Bhaiya Krish? Huh?
Puja to leave.
Bhaiya Krish said leave. I told her the same thing. I said if you married and you have no peace, leave. You didn't get married to be abused. You got married to live in peace. But that's the only point. Some people might say, Baba, why does she die? Till death do us part. Stay there, he'll kill you. Just do us part, no problem. When he finishes with you, you're done. You know how many people are being falsely accused for things that they did not say or even done? Friends, we have to be very careful. Let us start with us tonight. Let us not be the one to blame anybody. Let us listen to this katha tonight and let us take the words of Ganesh Baba and let it be materialized in our lives. Let us take the actions of Bhagavan Krishna and let it be part of our existence. When you don't know something, don't talk it. You know how many people called and said to me, Baba, we're sorry. I said, for what? We hear you and your wife divorced. I said, me and my wife divorced? He said, yes, we hear that. I said, okay, very good. I'm going to hug up and do nothing fast. I said, we divorced? He said, no. I said, okay. Because you're going to be divorced and don't know it. So I went quick and hug up. I said, are we divorced? No. Everybody know that except me and my wife. Just to show how people talk and say things that are not true. It doesn't mean anything. My friends, let us not be the one to do things like this. And this katha about the moon, looking at the moon on Ganesh Chaturthi night, and you will be blamed for something, can come to an end. But we have to bring it to an end. Prem se boliye Bhagwan Ganesh ki, Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki, Govinda Bhagwan.